Well, welcome to another Memphis Answers. Today we have a question from Scumbags Unlimited. It said, would you make a dedicated video tutorial on making a table jig? Well, we sure will. Let's get to it. The table jig we're going to make supports making this standard arrangement here. There's 1,000 ways to make tables, but this is probably the most common, with the corner blocks, the side frames, and the legs bolted into the corner blocks. By using the table jig, you get this real precise, professional outcome. You don't have to do it this way, but what I do is I start with the actual tabletop. This is the board is going to be the tabletop. And here are my legs, right there. So off of my leg stock, I've cut these little blocks here, 4 of them. So they're exactly the same size as my legs. And they will go in the corners wherever I want my legs. Now, around these, where these legs are, I put these blocks of wood that are the same length . They go all the way around like this. Now you see how those are positioned? And you determine the length of these boards. You determine the length of that board by figuring out where you want the legs. And those little blocks right there standing in for the legs. Now here we have a close-up of this leg attached to this frame piece, and you'll notice there's a little relief right here. The frame doesn't come out. It's not flush with the side of the leg. You want to bring that in a little bit. So we'll show you how to do that. So to make that little relief, you cut you some more stock that's the same width as your frame's going to be, and that goes on the inside here. Now these don't have to be cut all the way. All it is a spacer, and these will go all the way around. So this is how it ends up looking. I've connected it together, but those spacers go on the inside. But you need to put some pocket holes, or you don't even need to put pocket holes. You can just drill a screw in there sideways if you don't have a pocket hole jig. On the outside, that'll hold it steady while you assemble your table. Okay, this is a little trick here. It kind of saves you some time and some heartache. When you put everything together, I got this outer part of the jig comes right to the outside of the stump here, and then this other board comes all the way flush right here. See what I mean? That way there's no measuring, and I put the thing together really fast. Okay, now I'm going to put this thing together with staples. I'm using staples just because it's easier, but you can use nails, screws, whatever you want. So this board right here comes right to the outside of that leg, just like that. So I want to attach this thing directly to that. Then the other one comes out and it's flush against here. So I'll just hold that together. So we got the stumps in and the outer bars in. Now we need to put these spacers in. It's real simple, just sort of, center them in there. They don't have to come all the way to the stumps. And I'm using real tiny little staples to attach it. So here's our table jig. And what you do now is you can just position it, see, wherever you want it on the table. And attach it to your top. Okay, the jig's finished and it's attached from the outside with those pocket screws. Now let's see what you do with it. So we haven't been building a table, we've been building a table jig. Here's all the parts. You got the corner blocks and frame and the legs and these are called hanger bolts here. So we have to assemble all these parts. And so to see how this thing works, I made up some table parts here. Corner blocks, all that stuff. Let's assemble them on our jig. So now we have our jig. All we have to do is take our parts and put them in the jig. And see, the jig holds in place while we assemble everything. It's a drag trying to put a table together, and you can do it, but and our corner blocks fit in here. Then I'll take pocket holes, or these pocket screws, and attach my frame to the tabletop. Now all these table parts, I must have 20 or more videos on table making. So if you check out one of those videos, you'll see how to make all these different parts. But you can see the beauty of this jig now. If you can imagine trying to put this, hold these things in exactly the right place and right position. But the table jig does it automatically, see. Now I'll put these corner blocks in. That's the way I found that you can really get these in perfect. The fact is, it's hard not to get them in perfect because the jig just holds them into place. And everything's aligned. So now the frame parts are all in place. I can take out these pocket screws that are holding the jig in place. And we can reveal our new frame. I don't save these frames. They're so easy to make, are these jigs, because they're so easy to make, they're just not worth it. So there's our frame. Now we just attach the legs. Now, if I did everything right, this should fit right through there like that. Put on a washer, lock washer, and a nut, and tighten it down. Well, that's how you make a table jig, and this is the finished product. I was actually thinking ahead a little bit on this. Instead of just making a prototype, I went ahead and made this thing where it's semi-useful. So I made it the same height as my assembly table, so I can use it to put tools and stuff on. And it's got this nice little handle. It's got this nice little handle I can carry it around with. Well, that'll do it for this Memphis Answers. I hope you found this tutorial on how to make assembly jigs useful. I'll try to put some links in the description on some of our table builds. Maybe you can get some more information.